I'd like to welcome you all and thank you for joining us today for what I know will be a very special session. My name is Mike Morris, and I head the School of Entrepreneurship here at OSU. And we run a program called Entrepreneurship Empowerment in South Africa. And each year we take over 25 students, and they go into the black townships outside of Cape Town, South Africa. And they work with entrepreneurs, historically disadvantaged entrepreneurs, helping them make their businesses sustainable. And these are entrepreneurs with very little to nothing. And so their businesses are difficult to begin with, struggle, intensely competitive markets, low entry barriers, and so forth. But they're just amazing people. And they have a tenacity and cleverness in terms of overcoming adversity and obstacles. So, about 5 years ago, we were over there, and I go over early and interview prospective entrepreneurs that we think we can help. We met this guy who was just a little different. I think he epitomizes, though, so many of the positive values of what contemporary South Africa is about. But his name is Luvuyo Rani, and Luvuyo was a school teacher. So no formal business background. And he'll let him tell the story, but he found his way into teaching, but ultimately into understanding the power and potential of technology and how bringing computer literacy to these poverty-stricken townships could have a uplifting and transformative impact. And so we met him, and he was a client. Our students helped him with his business in the very early days, well, just 5 years ago, but very early days of business. Today, which is unheard of in terms of the world in which he operates, he's got 19 locations in 5 different townships. So I'll let Luvuyo tell us the way. I'm going to ask him a series of questions, and then we'll open it up to questions from all of you. But he first wanted to share a video to help set the context today.
Khayelitsha township in Cape Town was born in 1983. It was launched as a new home concept for a rapidly growing influx of people from the Eastern Cape and to address overcrowding in other Cape Town townships. But in reality, it served as a hub to house cheap labor which could service Cape Town's industries, and it was never meant to develop as a town in its own right. Today, Khayelitsha is said to be the second largest and fastest growing township in South Africa, with around 1.5 million residents, 75% of which are under the age of 35. Yet, over half of its people are unemployed, living below the poverty line, and more than a third have no easy access to water. Surveys show that their major concerns remain unemployment and the lack of skills training. In 2004, a high school teacher and a resident realized that a major life-changing enabler was lacking for all in Khayelitsha, and that was access to affordable technology.
When I started businesses, I selling the refurbished computers in the boot of the car. So going to every school and looking to do presentation to teachers. So I was focusing really on teachers. And in the beginning, there was kind of resistance, and people would say that I'm stealing computer to other schools, and others would say that I'm mad, I'm not selling computers. But what I've realized that is to make sure that I group teachers in saving, which is top fair. So where they come together, 6 of them, they contribute 400 a month. Within 6 months, all of them, they have computers. So that I use it to different schools, and it works, on those schools. But as time goes on, I realized that teachers were having these computers and putting them in their house becomes ornament or museum because they cannot use it, the computers. Hence I realized that I need to have hand cafe with the partners. We said that we need to have the first in-hand cafe in Khayelitsha so people can come and use the internet. But we never realized that time that the internet cafe, it's the problem around ICT is the big problem in our communities. So that with the internet cafe, people want to come in the internet cafe. If they come and ask us to do their CVs, and we find a local radio station, Radio Bonele, where we invite them to come, and we realize that they cannot differentiate between facts and image. We need to train them, we need to skill them. So we started now the following year having a training where we train them around computers. That changed Silulo as a business.
To meet high demand, Silulo Ulutho Technologies quickly began rolling out more internet cafes, which also offer computer sales and maintenance services, and the company soon received immense local and global recognition. A renowned BBC World Services journalist once described Silulo's success as simply internet by the people, for the people, that is both changing and saving lives. In 2007, the Silulo team also realized that many township people could not even afford a second-hand computer, let alone operate one. So they began offering basic computer training. Today, the company runs 16 centers offering a range of computer-related products and services around the Western Cape and has trained over 3,000 people.
The training we provide introduction to computers, where we teach intro to computer, web, Excel, PowerPoint, Microsoft Access, email, internet, social media. And most guys that goes out to the training, they could find employment. Probably 60% of them, they get able to work as data capturers, call centers, retail shops. 10% you find them starting their own businesses. And others will want to study and further their studies with the different institutions. This year we realized that we need also to have much more advanced courses where we train A+, L+, networking, programming, web development, so that we could develop some much more skills that is needed by the market. So a part of the student that goes for that 6 months, they could become technicians, they could become programmers, so that you could see the power of technologies in changing their lives. And the impact is kind of, people now, they feel empowered, they feel that they are part of the technology, they feel that they could do what they have with the skill and make sure that they improve their lives.
For quite some time I've been hearing about Silulo on radio, and I would see Silulo posters like at taxi ranks in our communities, and I thought to myself, let me call Silulo and find out for myself their terms and where I can start doing this course that I want to do.
It's important to know computers because everything that we do around it involves the technology. Everything that we do is computer. So it's very important for you to understand and to well know the computer, because if you don't know how to use computers, then it means that you have a missing one.
Yes, training is critical, but as in many townships, there is little or no dependable internet infrastructure, as the country's national fixed line provider is reluctant to provide expensive cable to the informal sectors anytime soon. So although our disadvantaged may have to rely on unreliable internet connections and can't really afford good computers, one thing they do all have is a mobile phone. And even though Silulo Ulutho Technologies now has a multi-million rand annual turnover, Luvuyo has never lost sight of his company's ongoing goal, which is to put the power into the people's hands, wherever, whenever, and however possible, And this is where he spotted another opportunity.
I think Silulo reached a particular stage in their development in terms of the products and services they offer, largely around the internet cafes, the training side of the business, and the office services that they offer. Clearly, they now needed to scale the business, and with mobile devices being so ubiquitous, it's really important now to develop that partnership. So through the mobile devices and that infrastructure, it becomes scalable to deliver internet access and the services that Silulo provides.
Silulo is now well on track to launch its new brand in partnership with Vodacom, which is integrating its full product and service experience into Silulo's existing business. It will help train its staff in how mobile devices can be used to give everyone the full benefits of the internet.
If you take the average consumer within this area, he identifies with the Silulo brand as a brand of their own. At the same time, Vodacom is the leader in cellular. So taking those two brands together and joining them will definitely be a powerful force. Silulo will retain the internet component, so all their stores or all the internet stores will still do internet, and with that they'll complement it with all Vodacom products. And consumer will now have the alternatives to come into a store, take out a contract, buy a web box, to become an M-Pesa customer, trade via M-Pesa, with all these Vodacom products. I think the other element of it is that within the Silulo stable, there's an academy as well, and how to train customers or consumers or students on Vodacom products as well, and that's the second part of the partnership.
Peter Ace, CEO of Vodacom, adds that Vodacom is committed to put the power of the internet into people's hands. Through partnerships with businesses such as Silulo Ulutho Technologies, we can begin to make a critical contribution to help decrease the digital divide. Silulo also never stops broadening its horizons, and not only teaches basic internet and computer skills, it also runs intensive full-time CETA accredited courses for those wanting to make a career in ICT, like in the fields of programming and software development, skills that are always in high market demand.
The vision is traveled on three objectives. One is to provide a digital lifestyle store to the user that has only the mobile device, so that user can live a full, rich, multimedia lifestyle through the partnership with Silulo. Secondly, we don't want to be restricted to the emerging market only. There's no reason why a Silulo store cannot open at the waterfront, because there are users at the waterfront who are the same users everywhere else, who need the help, the training, and the access to empower themselves. And the third one is a national footprint. Vodacom obviously has a desire to unlock this partnership nationally. Clearly, Western Cape is a pilot phase. We believe they are sufficiently impressed to make a commitment to a national rollout.
Our vision is to inspire people through technologies, people who are on the emerging market, on the township, rural areas, and in terms of seeing the power of technology through us. And that thing can fit very well with our partnership with Vodacom. And it's very exciting to us because it enables us to make sure that we add more things on the services where people can come to our centers, able to access to M-Pesa, able to access to Webbox, and access to touchscreen and tablets, and we're able to get it through our center. And it fit very well with our vision to make sure that we bring technology closer to people.
Vodacom and Silulo, inspiring minds through technology.
So please join me in welcoming Luvuyo Rani. I should tell you, Luvuyo, Oklahoma has a distinct honor on the stage. He's never been to America. It's his first visit. So he thinks all of America is like Stillwater. So I'm going to ask some questions, sort of get you exposed to Luvuyo's story. And I joke when I go over to South Africa that I actually work for him because he has all these entrepreneurs he's trying to help. gets us working for him, in fact. And that's so this week I've had my revenge. He's been working for us, and I'm sure he's pretty exhausted. The class that he's appeared in, and the students he's met with, and so forth. But this is the highlight. You saw in the video what a township looks like. And the township of Khayelitsha, which started as nothing, in less than a couple decades, now has almost 2 million people living. And a lot of those people migrated from another part of South Africa, the Eastern Cape, to the Western Cape, coming to look for opportunities once the apartheid legislation was outlawed and democracy came to South Africa. So Luvuyo was one of those people. He grew up in the Eastern Cape, in an area that was poverty-stricken. And I want you to tell us a little bit about your early life experiences growing up in the Eastern Cape. I guess your parents had a business in your household. Can you talk a bit about that?
Thank you very much. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of an honor for me and a privilege to stand and to talk about the story of Silulo. And it gives me quite a great pleasure to understand the power of a story, that a story can give inspiration. And when I look back with the history where I come from, early stage, when my father, he was a maid nurse working in the hospital, and my mother was a domestic worker. I think in 1986, I lost job, and she has to survive 3 boys. So half of the income of my father spent to pay the bond and the amount able to support us. It was a difficult time, and we're moving in a different area where we have to use the lounge where we sit. Becomes a ship-in where we sell liquor in the lounge. Come and buy liquor in our home. And it was early of years of my kind of life. And that time I never realized that it was preparing for becoming a journey of entrepreneur. Because it was a survivalist. So we sell liquor, we buy food for transport, that's it. It was a difficult time because the system of the government at apartheid time, illegal households were being arrested. So every time harassment of the police, my mother to hide was someone in to take the liquor in the house. And it makes me to appreciate to work with people until I passed grade 12. Because in the Eastern Cape, there are kind of few opportunities. I have to go to Western Cape, looking at studying further. So I went to Cape Technical, doing teaching and commerce. And I've probably done a BTech. And I started working as a teacher, teaching accounting and business economics for 3.5 years. But being teaching in school, it gave me a love for entrepreneurship. And after 3 years teaching, I realized that I need to do something. I don't know what to do.
Well, let's stop there for a second before you get into that.
Yes.
So before you moved to Cape Town, you're in the Eastern Cape. Your family is running a neighborhood bar out of the living room of your house illegally, given the repressive apartheid legislation. What was it like growing up as a young person under the apartheid regime?
It was hard for, when you're young, you don't notice it. You just like see things growing up, you don't know that there's apartheid. You just see that people are staying in this area, you can't go to that area, you need to have a pass to go to town. So you're limited in this area. But with the business, it's only then we felt at home. Because with the apartheid, we never allow for a person like me to have a business. So even when I started a business, I never see any role model that I can look up to. All my role model is my mother. who started as shipping, where I look up even today. It's a person that I look up because started on a different situation and made it for us to go where we grew up. So there was not in a situation of where we would have entrepreneurs, people that are looking up to.
So black people were supposed to be laborers, not.
So the system of the apartheid, it says that you are labor, you can't start a business. There's no way, you just need to work. And I think it's still from today with the legacy that many young people to study, you need to graduate, to get qualification, you work at big corporates, or you work on government, that's it.
So you become a teacher, you teach for a few years, and where are the computers then?
It's more on the computer thing. Because South Africa, after apartheid, they look at system of education. So they're introducing new system, which is outcome-based education, where it's based on skill. So we think that teachers has to use computer as part of their tool in their classroom. So most of them never have an opportunity to start computers. So I saw that there's an opportunity to sell teachers. So I started selling refurbished computers, so teachers can use computers.
So these are school teachers teaching
Different subjects.
what level?
High school.
High school teachers.
Yes.
But they don't have any computer skills and they don't have any computers.
Yes. I mean, it's just a situation that this is a curriculum you are teaching in English or biology or geography, and you need to use the internet, part of the class, but they can't use it. For them, they are afraid. For that matter, after I was selling these computers, they are buying to me and becomes ornament. Becomes, you see them, they put them nice cloth and they put in the room divide. That's what everyone knows, and they have computers. But in terms of using it, they can't use it.
It's a decoration.
I mean, it was more like someone can see the computer.
So you decided to try to sell them computers, but of course you didn't have any money.
Yes. But it was very interesting then I used to drive a Corsa Light to a car, a smaller car. And you buy this computer. My office is a parking, it's a truck. It's a boot of a car. So when them to teach us, I bought one computer. When then I showed them this is a keyboard, this is a mouse, this is a monitor, and how does it work?
This is at the back of your car.
Back of the car. So how does it work? So I realized that it's going to be problematic for teachers to buy these computers. The best thing that it works is to form them in a code, like a stock fair or savings. So put them in 6. So within 6 months, all of them contribute 400, 400, 400.
So each person in the circle pays 400 rands per month.
Per month.
And you take the whole pie.
Take the 400,
You buy
2.4
one
and
person.
buy 1%. And I use that to other schools where they compete.
So after 6 months, they all have computers.
Yes. And they assist me in terms of the cash flow. Assist me as a kind of a seed capital to start a business.
Your venture capital is from the customers.
Yes.
So now what happens? They've got computers.
What happens, I mean, because of the teachers, I mean, I started in the primary school. So I used that in the high school that you can't be left over by a primary school. You need to buy computers. So they compete. So a month I would have 13 schools buying on this kind of savings. So with that month, I go and buy computers. But after 6 months, there was a problem because I didn't have any background from IT. I didn't know how to use computers. And my brother then already joined me. So they came back with computers. And I couldn't do anything. I didn't have money to employ someone. And I have to find a partner who will assist us in terms of repairs, maintenance, and internet connection.
Okay. So how do we get from that to Silulo?
Well, from that, it was not even easy then. Because selling a computer, you don't have an office, other schools don't know you, and then because of the school, I mean, break up, there's much more crime in the schools, computer been stolen, So when I go to them, they say that I'm stealing these computers and selling to them. So they don't differentiate their computers and that others where I'm staying said that no, you're not right. You can't leave school and sell second-hand computers. You are okay. So no one, believing me and kind of rejection in the beginning. But as we sell and we go to different schools, we say that there's no internet cafe. So people can't have access to the internet. So we apply.
So none of the people in the townships have internet in their house?
No, there's no internet. Even the connection, the ADSL and the wireless, it was like kind of, something was there. Community of 1.5 million, there's no internet. So we think of internet cafe. We think in the beginning to have in a container, but we didn't know, can't put in the container. We need to put it on the proper structure. So we apply to the mall. So we have a shop where we have an internet cafe.
This is in Khayelitsha?
In Khayelitsha. They never give us because of we were blacklisted. And the bank cannot give us loan because our name was defaulting payment and our profile was not good.
You're blacklisted by the bank?
By the bank.
They won't touch it?
Even everyone, no one wants to be closer to me because they say that I'm a risk. I'm not given money. I never proved how to do it. Even the COSA office, they want to repossess it because I was defaulting payment. They want to take it. We went to our supplier where we buy computers. We asked the supplier to rent a computer every month. Rent. So we agree, give us a store, we put the tables, chairs, put internet cafe, we use wireless. First month, turnover that we've made was 35,000, not 350 or 35
$35,000.
No, 350 rand. 350
350 rand was your total sales.
So that's it for the month. The expense
So let's divide that by 7 at the time. 50 bucks. $50.
The expense is about 10,000. And paying the loan for computers.
So you thinking about going back to teaching?
No. It's not an option. It's not something that is an option.
You knew you were going to do this?
No, I didn't know. It was more on trying to see it. I didn't have any formula. So it lasted probably, we no longer going to school now. We're saying that we have a internet cafe. So we're waiting for customers to come to us and use the internet cafe. Probably for a 3 months period. Until such time that we met with the local radio station. We asked, can we give them a computer and a printer, and in return they give us an ad in the radio. So they give us an ad in the radio. We call people in the radio to come and use our center. So they were coming in the center now. But we just realized that they cannot differentiate between facts and image. Which means that a person when he comes in with a CV, resume, one employment, he could not, he doesn't understand that there's an email. He only knows that it's only a facts thing that we see. So we said, no, we need to change them. So they could do themselves, their own CVs.
So the business is located in that township of Khayelitsha in a small strip shopping center. And you've got an internet cafe in there, and you're way in the hole in terms of cash flow. You're not anywhere near breaking even. And you start to see people come in and use the internet cafe, you need a lot of help in terms of
they were coming in the cafe, which they can't use.
They wanted to
They want to prepare, so they were waiting for an hour or 2 hours, instead of themselves doing for themselves. Because they don't have, they never went to school, they never taught how to do this. So hence we said, okay, this is the biggest thing that we need to change. Started with training them, where we train them on in the shop. We find a training center. So we train them on basic computers, where then the training changed the business. Because after they trained, they could find employment, they can come use our centers or buy computers and have internet cafe. So training played a huge role. But that time, we only have 2 shops. Before I met with you, for 2 years then. Only 2 shops. And we're looking at also expanding. And we realized that the bank can't give us money. And we needed to do a business plan. So we could use a business plan we're looking for convincing the bank with the business plan.
So at this point, you're starting to get traction. You're getting a lot of people using the internet cafe. Young people are starting to take some of your training classes.
Yes.
And a lot of that's because you do these clever things like the radio station. The radio station, what was that all about?
The radio station, it was more on us to get access to the many people and educate them about the importance of computers.
So this is the beginning of this whole guerilla philosophy.
Yes.
You go to the radio station and you say, let us have some advertising and we'll give you computer training and computers.
Yes. I mean, it was they were in need of computers and IT support. So it was best for us, but we didn't have money. And we paid a lot of money to access the radio.
Okay. So somehow you talked and then you're giving you an hour-long radio. How did you do that?
No, I mean, it's more on saying that it's not enough in this radio. For this, it has to be two-way with customers, for listeners. So listeners will call. I had a problem with my printer, it's not printing. How can you assess me? So you will assess, I want to find employment. How do I use internet to find employment? Or I want to get training. So it becomes much more empowerment and education platform on the training.
And obviously it helps business.
It's obvious people are coming in now, want to see what we're talking about.
So are you still doing that radio show? Still.
It's very important to me. It's still very important today because I don't even think that we have reached 10% of the market. So we know there's a lot of much more education that we need continuously to do.
Okay. So then these crazy American students show up.
I met you. Very hostile. What kind of business? In the sense that you were difficult to read. In the sense that we are in on the program because we ask some questions. So we need to sell ourselves that what we do. So
we interview 70 entrepreneurs each year. We pick 16 that we're able to help. So Luvuyo is being interviewed.
So we did an interview, and we interviewed in Pentec that year. We were doing with Stanford University. And we selected, it was great, and we brought four or five in a team. Students. 3 from America and 2 from South Africa. Looking at how deliverables they could do for us. And there were 4 things that we identified. One, a business plan, marketing, corporate identity, and the operation manual. After, they were spent 6 weeks, so that 2 times a week, twice a week, spend time with us. And it was a great experience because it go deeper to understand what is exactly happening in Khayelitsha in terms of the business plan. After we finished with we left with the business plan, and we're looking for money for us to go. So we applied on the Kickstart program.
So this is a national competition in South Africa called Kickstart. Where you submit business.
So we applied for a grant. They selected us after 10, 15 in the Western Cape. So we went through a 2 weeks training. Part of what we train is what on our business plan. So we compete, present, we won the best entrepreneur in the Western Cape. We received about 110,000 rand with that business plan that we've done, probably could be done for us. And that money, we use it to open 2 more centers, the money that we received.
So what did it feel like when you suddenly had 110,000 rand?
No, it was more a need of the business. It was not more for us. It was more to buy asset, the computers, refurbish for the shops, and then it was more for the business. And it was the need that we were looking for the business. But the feeling it was more, we cannot do it without the group done the business plan. So it was a feeling that the group assesses us, which is a student, in order to qualify and get the grant.
So these American students actually can do something.
No, they could. I mean, what I've done also probably you've never done on the program. Not you, but someone I spoke said, I've seen the impact on the program first day. I want to come next year. So when we signed again, and I could part of, and it happened for 3 years.
So our students have worked with Luvuyo multiple years. So now you have some money and you decided to expand and open some new locations in Khayelitsha or in township?
It was Khayelitsha first, later because we won Western Cape and then won national. So we use it in other townships.
And that's continued to expand to the point where you're about to open the 19th location.
When we expand where we open now, we are going back to the Eastern Cape where I come from. So next month we're opening at home, the first center at the site.
And you have your eyes on Johannesburg.
Now, by this time Johannesburg, we will be in Johannesburg and eyes of Africa as well.
So the business has also, well, one of the interesting things is the banks are all calling you now.
Yeah, no, banks are want me bank overdraft, ask me possibility that you don't want the loan to expand. And I said, no, not now. Even the investors are coming in and said, want to stake in the business? No, not now. We still looking at building this business.
Same guy as blacklisted.
Same.
So, in the video we saw that you had this, you had an early partnership with Microsoft.
Yes.
And how did that work?
The Microsoft part, it's more because we're selling the refurbished computers and people in the township were pirating software. So we approached Microsoft to say that because we're selling refurbished computers and people are pirating software, partner with us so to make sure that these refurbished computers, they come up with Microsoft software. So they agreed, they involved the city, Cape Town, they declared
They didn't just do it out of the goodness of heart, they had an interest.
No, they're interested in business. So they agree, they make it affordable to the extent that the software becomes $10, 70 rand software. So we sell more refurbished products. That time we used to sell none of the refurbished computers through Microsoft partnership. And I think it was more like an anchor partnership because it brings some kind of attention to many businesses.
So the Microsoft Windows for $10 becomes affordable.
It becomes affordable. So someone can buy a PC at 2,100 to us because of it has the Microsoft software.
So I bring up Microsoft because much of your story is all about people partnering with people, leveraging relationships. And your most recent relationship is with the largest cell phone provider in South Africa, Vodacom.
Yes.
What's happening with that?
Because Vodacom, they've been existing for 17 years in South Africa and they want to penetrate the township market. They're opening shops and closing those shops while they're doing well. And because of we have a presence, we already have 18 centers that we have. So instead of Vodacom opening shops, they want to work with us based on their brand. Because people know the Silulo brand everywhere around township. And two, and they look at the same market that we are in, because we know the market, we understand the market. They look at that market to work on that market. Hence they feel that instead of doing themselves, they can do with partnering with us.
So in each of your locations, there's a Vodacom presence, there's some Vodacom
No,
products.
it's not yet. It's only 2 locations. We're just piloting seed how
Right. And so here's this big successful cell phone company partnering with Luvuyo. And it raises sort of challenging questions because it's sort of a legitimacy in having this big, powerful cell phone company come to work with you. And yet you're a little bit worried about that in terms of protecting the brand that you've built with Silulo.
It's one factor. It's a great opportunity for us for numbers. What our interest is more on numbers. I think our interest is to empower people technology. 2, our success now with the partnership with Vodacom, people will perceive as if we've been assisted by Vodacom. I think 3, our interest is on those townships and want to bring hope in those townships that something in South Africa can come in the township. So when it comes with Vodacom, it doesn't fit very well in terms of pure on the branding side. So it's something that we're struggling and battling in terms of dealing with this branding. It's a great opportunity for us to be partner, but we're still looking forward in terms of being seen as purely as Silulo.
And your brand, I think it's a very important point. The brand that he's built, Ulutho, is it's a Khayelitsha born and bred brand. It's a Khayelitsha person who's done this. And so, and what's interesting when you go to his locations is they're not low end looking. They're not like, well, we're in the township, so they actually are raising aspirations. You go, they're modern, they're cool furniture, the places have a neat feel to them. And all of that reinforces this brand of excellence and expecting more, and you can do more, and you can be more. Tell us the story. The power of this brand is such that it's a computer store in the middle of poverty-stricken township. So you think it'd be a hole in every wall from people breaking in every night trying to steal all this stuff. You've had very little problem, Ryan, and then you told me a story about at your new location, Felipe, some computers being stolen.
Yeah. No, we had, people, when they say, even visitors, South African visitors, when they come to Khayelitsha, so they come with a bodyguard, because they are afraid that something can happen, someone can rob them, someone can do something to them. So people don't see Khayelitsha as an area for business. So everyone asks me, every today, are you having problems with computers stolen in your space? And it's something that will never happen. It's only in Philippines that we opened 2 years back. This year, they break in, we come on the roof, call about 15 computers. And because of the brand, everyone associates and loves Silulo. Within a day, we community able to tell us exactly where those computers are. Able to get sit very well. Even the policemen could not able to get.
Police couldn't help.
Could not help. But community able to say like this is where it's said. If the person have done that, come to us and apologize. It was a mistake, doesn't know that. So there's so much buy-in and see this brand grow. So community see, the thing is we empower community. So if you're stealing to us, you're stealing to yourself. Because I mean, if we're not there, we employ part of their system, we train their mothers and train themselves. So if they're robbing us, they're still robbing themselves. So they feel that they kind of belong in the brand. Maybe probably at least at Stock Exchange, they could get much more people are buying shares of the business, the community. So there's so much community involvement in the brand.
So that brings us to this concept in Africa and certainly in South Africa of Ubuntu. And it's something you embrace very personally. You do a lot of giving back, you do a lot of ways in which you're engaged and connected to the community beyond simply the business. Can you talk about that?
I think it's something that probably we have a DNA in Africans that it's not only about you, it's about the community that you are in. And I think for me, I feel strongly the success of Silulo is not success because we create or think, but it's a success of the community supporting us. It's where we are today. And it's more on us that we can't succeed on this environment and not only make sure that other people succeed. Hence, as we succeed on this environment, we have a session with other entrepreneurs twice a month where we invite them with the speakers or someone to talk about the businesses, because we see ourselves, we need to grow with people next to us. That way, we're able to sustain ourselves. Because we don't want to see usually in 10 years' time, it is that they were Silulo, and people that were there, they're no longer there. So want to grow, and it goes on this principle and the values of Ubuntu.
So, you know, he alludes to this, and I had the privilege of going to one of these monthly sessions. But Luvuyo mentors about 30 entrepreneurs, and men, women, younger for the most part. And so he has these sessions, and I got to go to one of them. The room is alive. It's people struggling with nothing but a dream, trying to start something, and they're sharing ideas, and they're asking each other, how did you do that? Or I know this guy, or whatever. And it's just an inspiring contest to walk in. But ultimately, it's people have to find their own way. They have to take personal responsibility, but you're giving them a hand up, helping them.
Yeah, I think because of the success, they see probably as a champion. They see it as an inspiration. They see someone that have done it without nothing, and they want to learn, and they want to see how can they to learn. So that's why, I mean, it becomes like all of us, part of the solution becomes all of us. Because when we meet, we talk about the businesses, we ask questions about the businesses, and business is able to know and learn from that process in the city. So it's more on saying that as we community of business, that the young people that becomes the next generation, that in years to come, 5 years, 10 years to come, that will find businesses that will go through this network that
So there's just incredibly rich values that underlie this story that you're hearing. And it's all about the individual and how much Luvuyo believes in the individual. I went one time, and he's got 3 components of the business: the internet cafes, the refurbished computers that he sells, and the training. He was telling you how they support one another. You get trained, you are better able to find a job, you get a job, you can afford to buy a computer, use the internet cafe. But it's the way he does it. It's computer training, right? So you come in and you learn Excel, or you learn word processing, or whatever. But at the end of it, there's this formal graduation ceremony, and it's a big deal. And big speakers come, and people sing and dance, and each student gets recognized. Can you talk a little bit about your philosophy?
Well, because most of our students, 60% are young people that pass to grade 12, class 10, that are looking for employment. 30% are people that are looking for jobs. They pass then, it's been 10 years or 5 years, they never find the jobs. So they think that computers. And we find a mix of 10% of people. And the computer course is 6 months, it's a basic around computer. And with the graduation ceremony, inviting speakers to come and talk about graduation. Same as computers. The way of creating ignition, ignite for every student to realize that if I can do this 6 months course computer and pass it well, which means that part of the dreams and inspiration that I have, I can do further. I could go out and study further to go to university now. Or I can start my own business. Or I can go out and find employment. So it gives that kind of hope, that kind of inspiration that if I can wear a gown and then goes and front and give a certificate, my important person, which means I'm important. Because after that, they go out and then after the event, have celebration, inviting the family, it becomes a big thing. And the second year, you'll find it working or studying further because it gives them that we want to see them not only waiting for us to find them for employment, but them looking at taking ownership of their life.
So I want to open it up to some questions from the audience, but as a black man who's a successful entrepreneur in the new South Africa that has democracy and freedom, do you feel particular responsibilities? Do you feel a particular role you must play?
After 1994, we were having many great leaders, great people staying in the communities fighting for freedom. So after we've been free, everyone moved to a better suburb, better areas. And township left with leaderless, with no role models, no one we can look up to. So even today, when a young person goes and graduates and get a job and find an entrepreneur, most of them don't stay in the township. You don't find investment coming back and investing in education. And for me, the feeling is more, and even for Silulo, I don't want to even Silulo in Santin or in Waterfront or in California. I want it in Khayelitsha. So by that way, I could create many young people that will learn from me in years to come in terms of it's possible. Anything that they want to do, they can do it, regardless of their situation and circumstances.
What questions do you have?
When your business was starting out and was struggling, was that difficult for your family to support you? So did your family ever say, go back to teaching, you know, it can't be part of your life, or were they supportive?
Well, my father passed away in 1997 whilst I was a student. So I used to study and after school work. My mother was an alcoholic. After the shipping business, she became Christian, left everything. She was depending on us. So there was nothing that I could look up to. And something that motivated me was of that hardship to succeed. Well, there was no falling back that I would and say that I know the family or auntie or relative that able to assist us. It was me and my brother, and we have to survive in that kind of situation.
So he later got married, and one of it's such an interesting approach, because if you go to one of his main locations in Khayelitsha, he's got the computer training area, he's got the internet cafe. He's got space, some extra space in the facility where some of these people he's been mentoring are running their businesses. And the way they achieve synergies and do so much more with so little. So there's a guy who's running like a DJ and entertainment business. And so at every function that the company does, and the openings and so forth, there are singers that are being managed by one of the young entrepreneurs in this facility. They started a magazine that was called Khayelitsha, or Khayelitsha, for this 2 million person township. And Luvuyo, they were in trouble with Luvuyo's become a partner in the thing. And so, because of his relationship with Vodacom, they've become a key advertiser in the community magazine, which is helping it survive and stay in business. And so, most recently, his wife has opened a restaurant attached to the other parts of the business. And I got to tell you, I'm not sure how he goes home at night, because he's a tough business guy. So his wife has to, he's kind of like putting big money into the restaurant, and has to make it on its own. You want to talk about your wife?
Well, we started before the Cup, the restaurant with my wife. We started, we bought a B&B after the World Cup, like backpacker. So the guys were selling the backpacker, and we saw this great backpacker, and we.
Well, in the middle of that township that you saw, there's bed and breakfast, there's for backpackers. A bunch of our students.
Yeah. So we bought the backpacker and hoping that tourists would come and use it. And within 6 months, we had some problem in terms of we couldn't sleep at night. And we've been married for 3 years, and we want to make babies. And we didn't have a chance because we were working at night. and tourists were not even coming. One tourist come and could not even break even the business. It doesn't work. And we said no, it was one family now. So we decided to give back to owners the business and started with the cafe restaurant next to Silulo. So as part of the student, people are coming, businesses can get and to use the cafe. And with the cafe, my wife now is sort of in on the business. But I'm not sure she's like me. Probably she's lifestyle business. Like she will run that cafe alone. But the ambition even for me is more to take that cafe, make sure that every center for Silulo will have a cafe. So is this where she said that, no, hold down. That's So this is a kind of a struggle I'm going through with my wife around the cafe and then taking to other centers.
Who's going to win?
She'll win. I mean, at some point. on the cafe, she'll win the cafe.
She'll win it, yeah. Yes, sir.
With 18 centers, you have a number of employees. How do you decide what level of pay? And does that include some benefits?
Well, on the employees, 70, we have 65 employees. 70% of that, they were part of the student that trained for the community. So we've taken them, so a student, after they finish, becomes a consultant doing CV copying, assignment, or you become a center manager, where you manage the center. People are reporting to you or regional manager. With these guys, I mean, they are young, most of them young, energetic, and want to see people, and they believe in the vision. In the beginning, they start on a scale, probably at 2.5 as a basics. And it's not good money, but we look in terms of that hunger and that drive for them to see that they're still part of the Silulo. So once they're able to spend a year and looking great and pay them very well, there is a policy that we find them, so when they no longer with us, they can get some policy. We see working around with the insurance, because insurance is one of, not insurance, medical aid. Medical aid is one of the expensive ones.
Health insurance.
So it's one of the expensive ones. But in the life cover for the policy, they are covered with the basics.
Could you elaborate more on the 6-month training? Is it customized to the individual's needs, or is it a classroom? You know, first month we do this, second month we work on this.
It's more classical. We have a student that attend from 8 to 10, 10 to 12. We open from 8 in the morning until 8 in the evening. So they from 8 to 4, mostly student graduate from 4 to 6 or 8, professional policemen, teacher, traffic. So they come from Monday to Friday, every day. So for a week or 3 weeks, we do Word, do Excel, do PowerPoint, Microsoft Access, we do social media blogs, email, and also do some part of the mobile businesses. How do they do banking using their cell phone?
But it's a lab like we would have here. So they actually have computers that they're sitting in. Sometimes that's the computer working as the instructor. Yes, sir.
You mentioned that you mentor a lot of young entrepreneurs. If you have to give them one advice, everybody, what would be their advice?
One advice? So the advice is more to me, they must do it. And by doing it, it's where they learn. Because I think we, in our country, it's a culture that doesn't allow people who are failing. And there are many people who are afraid to start businesses. And instead of telling them what the best solution, how to do it, it's for them to experience doing it. And by doing it, it's where then they grow and then when they find out what the business is. So it's only thing with myself that I've learned that I keep on doing it. It's where then I grow as a business.
So you can't just talk about it?
No, I mean, you can't, because once you talk about the theory, I won't waste my time because now you never know exactly. So once you've done it and you will talk in terms of exactly a problem finance, a problem marketing, then I'll know exactly which problem that you talk about.
Yes, sir. So I was wondering, like, since, because you know, like, what happens is that since you open a business, people are not going to think beyond that. So if somebody has money, it's like, what's this company is doing? We can do 1, 2, 3, and then add more. Do you have that? Do you have that competition where somebody is trying to kind of copy your ideas and just compete with you because he has more capital and more things?
We have competitors. I mean, you will find a guy who runs his own internet cafe or someone who's got a training. But I think we are leader of what we do because we have one-stop center. A space that we occupy is probably minimum 150 to 200 square meters, where you find internet, training, mobile, and repairs of computers. So it's one space as compared to focus on the internet cafe. So the people, I think, once we realize that big businesses like MTN or Vodacom, because their business is no longer focusing on the voice, it's more now on the internet. So it's best to partner with them because it's them that are big pockets that they do what we do, and the partnership itself to deal with the competition.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. My question would be, I'm very inspired for you because I'm from Swaziland. So when he was telling his story to me, I understand the environment he tried to succeed in, whereby you have people who do not have an idea really, probably at that time, in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of wanting to make it yourself. Worse, when you will also decide to leave your job and try to start something for yourself. People would, I know definitely would think you are crazy, and probably you had so many obstacles you had to overcome. So my question would be, what really motivated you? For me, looking at the environment and probably what you went through to be where you are today, you certainly had, I don't know, some motivation from somewhere.
Maybe because to get education from me, it was a struggle to go to university. Because my parents could not afford me any money for me to go to university. And I said to myself, once I have an opportunity to get to university, I will study for 10 years so I can get qualifications. And there was a year, 1995. I didn't have money. There's no way that I could go to school. And there was no future that where the money would come from. And there was probably God's grace, maybe possibly that I would have effectively gone to do a busy course. After that, my father passed away the following year. It was easy for me to go home and sit and look for employment. But after school, I used to work from 4 to 10 in the evening, selling for the yogurt, go to robot and give people flyers, people that come in. And that prepares me for life. So anything that comes in, I could deal with it. Even the rejection, so I'm mad or I'm seeing computers, it was a minor thing. It was early in my life. I had so much time. Even now, as a business, that's why we go to Swaziland or Zimbabwe. I know that I'm going to deal with politics, deal with people that corrupt, people that want to stake in the businesses. But true believing and see that this is bigger and my interest is on the people on the ground. It's something that drives me and make sure that I bring closer to people.
So a robot is a red light. So he's standing on a street corner.
Giving flags.
Question. As your strong need to give back to your township and to really
there, does that cause you to forgo any possibly like more profitable avenues or markets for your business?
By staying in the townships and keeping your businesses in the townships, have you foregone other opportunities?
No, by staying in the township, doing business in the township, that no one has done a business in the township, it also opened my eyes in terms of if people come together in numbers and your prices are affordable, you make much more profit because they will come and buy in numbers. Which meant the internet access, the price to go to internet, it has to be affordable for a person to go to. The amount to come to train, it has to be affordable. So I can have many students to pay to cover those costs instead of having few people coming for cost. Even from Vodacom, part of the service, like instead of selling the iPhone or iPad, it's more on the smartphone where people can able to afford. That way it makes, for me, much more profitable in that space of the township. And hence every year, the turnover of the businesses will double our turnover because of the market that we're in.
I think you also have to understand that the business had nothing, and yet it's had this powerful impact. But a lot of that has to do with just entrepreneurial thinking. So if you saw the movie at the beginning, you saw people's houses that had Silulo painted on the side of the house. Well, he would go find those people and give them computers and computer training, and in exchange they would let him paint the side of their house. And the house would be located on the main thoroughfare. We had another entrepreneur that our students work with, and a lot of the schools in the townships are not very good, and so people, even when they don't have that much money, want their children to go to the best schools they can. So this was an entrepreneur whose business was transporting school kids to other schools. His wife had 3 vans, and our students are trying to work with them and help them with their business. And the guy had no computer knowledge, he had no computer in his business. And so you can imagine today 3 vans that have Silulo painted on the side of them. But they have computers and computer training. So a lot of those things that were the pieces and parts that allowed this thing to become what it's become, I think is so tied to the township, so tied to the context within which it exists. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. My background is agricultural education, and I realize you're working in a township, somewhat urban, but perhaps you've worked with some entrepreneurs that wanted to focus on small-scale subsistence farmers, because as you know, they're absolutely desperate for valid information, weather reports, technology, etc.
Well, in the context of Khayelitsha now, it's more on the land that is available. Tomorrow you see people are putting squatter camps for the desperate for land. So there's even no tree, no flowers. It's a shacks, some kind of structured house. So farming, and most they have on the same Cape where they used to farm, but because they're better in the towns, they're moving in the urban areas, become much more populated. So it's a space of, not big space, it's a smaller space, but highly populated. So it's only maybe now that we're going to go to Eastern Cape that we have an opportunity to interact with farmers, where there's land, to look at how to work with them, using technology, so part of what they are doing. Then I think it's only now that we can look at that. But where we are, it's just like people and survival, the space that they are providing.
Although you will find people have cows, chickens.
Oh yeah, sure. Very urban agriculture, yeah.
No, they're showing, those cows, they are eating the plastics and papers because there's no grass. So I mean, it's because of there's no space.
Makes it tough to stay.
Well, Well, there's a huge need for accurate information for small-scale farmers in sub-Saharan Africa. SMS technology about the weather, technology, transfer, I mean, it's absolutely huge.
No, it's definitely, it was, most of the part of South Africa, Aman was rough. They have land that is now back, and they're probably thinking of things back to home, where they put out. And these are kind of things that we look at through technology and mixing with them.
Other questions?
If you look at the penetration in terms of adoption of technology, the phones have been adopted much more than the computers have, and that's the reason why you bring in the phones have a partnership with that. Do you have any plans in terms of training and things which are towards the mobile technology?
Right. 90% of people have access to the mobile phones. And with that access to the mobile phones, I think the desktop in Africa in years to come, they're not going to have that. Smartphones are going to take it over. And part of the transaction, or part of the, say that from the e-commerce, is going to be m-commerce, because the banking is already done through cell phone. What you see on those cell phones is opportunity. There's no local applications that applies to township. And two, the language on those cell phones is English. So there's nothing that a person would not want to hear read. So if we develop some applications on Xhosa, on Zulu, on Shangaan, there's a great opportunity in terms of us developing.
You might be interested as well, Craig Waters is a new faculty member here with the, there's Craig. Craig is working on creating a cloud, working with Luvuyo to support entrepreneurs throughout the township. That would be very revolutionary. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm an income PhD student. Actually, my dissertation is on South Africa labor market. And one thing that struck me is because I'm working like on old pension and how it helps the household, because most people don't have enough income and people tend to bring their kids in and stuff. But like since unemployment is so high and everybody's expecting the government to employ people, just thinking like, I mean, what he's doing actually is creating employment. Like people are going, opening their own business. They don't have to depend on government anymore. They have the basic education because the structure has changed from just being a labor worker to be a more skilled worker. And if you don't have the skill, you're automatically unemployed. Because the matrix was kind of like, if you have a matrix, you can get a job, like a college degree and stuff. So I really commend him for this entrepreneurship because it helps to solve some of the unemployment problems that South Africa is facing, especially in the black, among the black population in South Africa.
In South Africa, you've got about 50 million people. You've got a country whose GDP is roughly equal to much of the GDP of the rest of Africa. And yet, it's estimated over 40% of that GDP may in fact be contributed by the informal sector, which are informal entrepreneurs. In the townships, it's estimated that every fourth shack has some kind of business fund. The challenge is to move those businesses up the scale of sophistication, and that's what I think a lot of the impact of the is.
No, you're right. I think part of the government agenda on entrepreneurship is focused on those businesses, small businesses that want to start businesses, startups. So there's no much more focus on the high impact structure that employ 50 people, 100 people, and 5 people. So there's no support in terms of grant, in terms of assistance with that. I think it's a shift from the country, from everyone that you look at in terms of those entrepreneurs that maybe have 10 people that they employ and grow those entrepreneurs as a kind of global and compete, not only focusing more because there's more that are, it's like survivalist. Retrench, that might start a shop, that might taxi business, have a shop. So, and people are still, many of them kind of that area, and that doesn't sustain. And the biggest competition, because South Africa has been, it's been seen as a honey of Africa. So people from Nigeria, people from Zimbabwe, Lesotho, are coming into South Africa. They're competing in the township with limited resources. Hence you find sometimes the anger on the xenophobia is based on those limited resources that are competing with.
Any other questions? We have a gift from your family